Hello and welcome to your Wednesday evening bedtime stretches. My name is Haylee and today we will be using a few props. We will be using a hard-backed chair like you can see behind me. We will be using a tennis ball or another small sized ball, and we will also be using a yoga mat. Let's get started sitting on our chairs. All right. We are going to begin with finding a little bit of mobilizing through the spine. And if you've been with me, we've done this before, sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to give you a profile view, leading with the heart. We're going to release down, and then leading with the belly button. We're going to curl the spine and roll up, flaring the heart forward and curl the spine up a couple more times. Forward and roll up the spine. And forward. Roll up the spine. Forward. Roll up the spine. And forward with a nice big exhale. And on a nice big inhale, roll up. The spine. Good. Let's get a little bit of side to side action. So we're going to take an inhale, bringing the arm up and over. Exhale, go into a nice deep side stretch. Inhale. And exhale, reach a little bit further and come up. Other side, inhale. Exhale, over. Inhale. Exhale, reach and come up. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, over. Inhale. Exhale to reach and come up. Inhale, arm up. Exhale, over. Inhale. Exhale to reach and come up. One more time each side. Exhale, over. Inhale. Exhale, reach and up. Last time, arm up. Exhale, over. Inhale. Exhale, reach and up. Good. Let's bring the leg up and over, flexing that foot, sitting up nice and tall, and hinging forward. Gently releasing the back hip, the glute. Keeping that foot flexed, and we'll be here for a moment. Gentle, we're just opening up the back of the hip for the first time tonight. But you can always take a moment to close the eyes, breathe deeply, and feel yourself entering the stretch, entering the headspace to start winding down for the evening. Feeling the glutes start to release and unlock. On your next exhale, see if you can go a tiny bit deeper. Slowly coaxing that muscle open. Take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, release that and maybe tap that foot on the floor just to kind of shake that leg out. Let's go to the other side. The leg crosses up and over. The foot is flexed. We sit up nice and tall and we hinge forward. And it doesn't have to be a whole lot. We are just starting our evening, or the stretch class, I should say. The evening has already begun. And you're breathing deeply. Checking in with the jaw, making sure that your jaw is nice and relaxed. Checking in with your shoulders, making sure they're not holding any unnecessary tension. Maybe you can see if you're gripping your stomach muscles, maybe you can let those stomach muscles release. Take a big sigh out. I don't know, sometimes that helps release a little extra tension. Now on your next exhale, see if you can enter into this stretch just a little bit deeper. Feeling the back of the leg, the back of the hip slowly creak itself open. Take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, release that down and tap that leg out. Good. Let's flex. I'll let you move back just ever so slightly so you can see my legs. We're going to bring that heel to the floor, reach down the leg, and find a really deep side stretch now. And on your exhale, reach that arm long and up and away. Other side, kicking that heel into the ground, reaching that side body nice and long. And on your exhale, reach those fingertips nice and long and up and away. Other side. Exhale into a nice deep side bend. And on an exhale, reach it long, 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 longer, longer, and up. Last time, other side. Exhale it over. And reach. 2, 3, 4. Reach a little further and come up and away. Good. Rotate those shoulders. Do what you need to do. Whew. Good. We are going to use the tennis balls to massage our feet today. As I said in the email that I sent on Monday, we are going to focus on our lower legs, which include the feet. So I'm going to use my chair kind of like a support. Let me adjust this camera one more time so I have a whole head. All right, that should be better. There we go. So I am going to hold on to the chair as just a little bit of support. It just helps me keep my balance. Putting the tennis ball to the sole of the foot and rolling it out. And we've done this before. So the first moment of rolling, we are just kind of assessing the foot. How does it feel? Are there any areas that are a little bit more tender? Are there any areas that doesn't really hurt, but it just feels really nice to kind of massage it out? So we first start by kind of assessing the whole bottom of the foot, and then we can start getting into a little bit of detail. So I want to spend some extra time kind of right near the tendon that runs in between my big toe mound and my heel. Sorry, this feels really good. I lost my train of thought. So finding points that you want to kind of concentrate on, and if you need to go a little deeper, all you have to do is transfer more body weight into the tennis ball. And we'll be here for just a moment longer, and then we will switch feet. Good. And take that foot off of the tennis ball and let's just compare the 2 feet. So just stand up nice and tall. You can even close your eyes here and just feel the difference between the foot that you rolled and the foot that still hasn't been fully woken up yet today. And in my feet, I feel the foot that I just rolled, it feels a little warm. It feels almost like a big flat duck foot compared to my opposite side. So now we are going to even it out. Starting with just kind of assessing the bottom of the foot and just seeing what parts are kind of like, whoa, that you really feel it, or maybe it just feels really nice in some areas, or maybe there's some areas where you're like, oh, there's a little bit of tension there, but with a little bit of care, we can definitely open that area up. So rolling out the arches of the feet. And keep rolling. And this is the moment where once it starts feeling kind of nice and warm and you're warming up the muscles similar to like, I don't know if you ever played with like plasticine when you were a kid, but the warmer it is, the more malleable it is. And so once you feel that warmth enter the bottom of the foot, you can start digging into a little bit more detail on this foot as well. I'm going to concentrate a little bit on myself. It's going to be different for you, but there's a tendon that runs between the big toe mound and the heel mound. And so kind of focusing on that inside edge of the foot feels really right for my feet today. But maybe, I don't know, maybe you had a stumble and you twisted your ankle a little bit and maybe you need to work on the outside of the foot. Who knows? We'll be here for just a moment longer. And when you're done, place those 2 feet on the ground and they should feel nice and warm. Your body should feel supported on these 2 feet. Good. We're going to place that ball to the side. Coming back to the chair. Now that the feet are warm, we're going to start working up into the lower leg. So I like to place my heel on my chair. I mean, this can be done seated. It's just way easier on the body in a chair. And I'm just going to start brushing up the front of my leg. I am giving pressure to the muscle that's right here in front of the shin bone, or right to the side of the shin bone. The shin bone is right here, and there's a muscle that kind of runs on top of it and to the outside edge. And I'm just going to give that area a little bit of pressure, brushing it upwards. And what's nice about this is it's really easy for blood to get into our feet, to get into our hands, because that blood is going from the heart and then working with gravity, right? So it's really easy for that to flow down. It's a little bit more difficult for all of that blood to work in reverse, to go from the feet all the way back up to the heart. So kind of by brushing upwards, you're giving those all of those blood vessels just a teeny tiny little assistance, a little break almost, which is one way to start feeling ease and relax. Let's go to the other side. Assisting the body in just basic functions. Giving pressure to the front of that shin, the muscle that lives right in the front of the lower leg. And you can find creative ways to massage it as well. The brushing sometimes works, or sometimes I like to hold like a knuckle out. I don't know if you can see, like a thumb knuckle, and then really press and dig that into the muscle, which can be a little intense at times. But just brushing up, and this should feel good. Scooping that kind of blood from the feet all the way up the leg. Good. And we're going to come down to the mat now. Place your chairs to the side because we will use them in that nice little relaxation at the end of class. All right. Time to work on the calves a little bit. I'm going to come just a little inch closer to you. All right. So let's take our tennis ball. And if you don't have a tennis ball, if you're using, let's say, a lacrosse ball or something that isn't super pliable, like I can squeeze this one down, just be very gentle. The harder the ball, the more intense this massage will be. So we're going to place that ball under the calf. And just take a moment to feel the muscle kind of spill around the ball. On your next inhale, inch the ball up a little higher. And feel the muscles spill around. If you have tight calves like me, this in itself, I can really feel points of tension. I really feel it kind of like in the belly of the muscle. And you're just going to inch that ball up until it's right under the knee. We don't want to go into the soft part of the knee where the knee bends, but just right into the top of that calf muscle. And then bringing that ball back down to the belly of the calf. You can start a little side to side action. Nice and slowly, gently. My calves are quite tight, so I can almost feel like the muscle clicking around over the bone. Whew. Finding points where you feel some intensity and taking a moment to pause, taking a big exhale, moving forward. A little bit more side to side action. And then let's roll out the calf and do this as slowly as you need. If you need to just stop and take a break and kind of massage the calf out, you can totally do that. This is real intense. I am well aware. I feel it very deeply, just as you might as well right now. Yikes, the lower legs get so darn tight. I'm going to remind myself to exhale deeply. I'm going to remind you to exhale deeply. This is a good moment to check in with the jaw or any of those other kind of accessory joints that you like to carry tension in. And on your next big exhale, bend that knee up. And then brush that calf upwards. Whew. This is also really good to do if you have any like oil or lotion, to do it with oil or lotion. Sometimes it just makes it a little bit easier and it actually feels like a real massage. But just working that calf muscle up. I'm giving it a little squeeze like it's a big tube of toothpaste or something and kind of just combing it upwards. Good. Let's go into the other side. So we start by bringing, so I'm not right on the Achilles, I'm kind of right where that calf muscle begins. So if you can see where the muscle starts to dip, I'm right at the beginning of that dip. Might place the ball there. I take a big inhale, and on the exhale, I feel my calf spill around the ball. I inch that ball up the calf just a tiny bit. On the exhale, feeling the muscles spill over the ball. Bringing it up just a tiny bit more. Bringing it up just a teeny tiny bit more. Good, and then when you're ready, bring it to the belly of the muscle. And the belly of the muscle is where that dip is at the lowest point, so the meatiest part of the muscle. You place the ball there and gently going side to side. Remembering to breathe. Ooh, unfurling the eyebrows. Even though some points in this calf really make you want to hold tension in the jaw and the eyes and the mouth and grip the teeth, but see if you can oppose that. See if by releasing the jaw, you can release the calves. Let's go back and forth one more time. Sorry, I'm not talking a whole lot right now. I'm concentrating very hard on this because it's kind of intense. Breathing into it. At least we're all in it together, right? Oof. All right. And when you're ready, going up and down that calf with the ball. I'm holding a lot of my weight in my hands right now, just because my calf is really tight and I can't put a super lot of pressure into it because it's quite tender. And that is okay for today and tomorrow, and I will work on what I need to work on. But we haven't done any lower leg work in a while, and my goodness, I totally feel it. So rolling out, finding little areas that need extra love, finding areas that feel good. Take them, and if you do find an area that feels good, massage that out. Enjoy the things that feel good. Take so that you can take a break from the things that are a little bit more deep and intense. Good, and on your next exhale, let's bend that knee, put the ball to the side, and just brush that calf upwards. Whew. Yikes. And then just use this to kind of relax into it, kind of brushing that pain away. But remember to give that calf a little bit of like a gripper and a squeeze. So you're really kind of like pushing whatever is hanging out fluid wise in the lower legs up towards the heart. Good. Now we are going to do a little bit of stretching for the calf. So we're going to come up. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to come to all fours. Sorry. We're going to tuck our toes and come into a downward facing dog, pedaling out the feet. And so here you're going to feel a nice big stretch in the calves, a nice lengthening of the hamstrings. Oh, and a nice long spine. Pedaling out the feet. And then when you feel ready, just ground both heels towards the floor. And you feel those heels going towards the floor as the sits bones go up towards the wall behind you. And we're going to think of those sits bones going towards where the ceiling meets the wall behind you. And while you're here, you're going to take a big inhale in and a big exhale. Big inhale in. And on your next big exhale, give your jaw a wiggle. And on your next big exhale, come up to the toes, put the knees on the mat, come into a child's pose. Bringing one hand to the side, matching hands and holding the wrist. We're going to come into a nice big side stretch. And we'll be here for about 3 breaths. Seeing if you can do this fully relaxed, feeling the jaw released, and going to the other side. Closing the eyes and seeing if you can just zoom in on the sides of the ribs, the shoulders, the arm. Feeling the belly go in and out of the thighs as you inhale and exhale. Bringing those hands back to center, coming up 1 foot up. Let me adjust this real quick. And we're going to find a nice big tuck in those tails. So I give my glutes a little squeeze, find a tuck, and come a little forward. If you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can think of really actively pressing that bottom shin into the ground and bringing that arm up and over, getting into the psoas. Breathing deeply here, feeling a nice long length in the front of that hip, down through the front of the quad. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. Seeing if you can find more length. Opening up the fronts of the hips. This one is kind of intense because we spend a lot of time sitting. I spend a lot of time sitting, so we are opening the fronts of the hips for me. But if you do find yourself working a lot at a computer sitting, we find a nice big tuck in that tail, coming forward, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 10 inches, whatever you've got today. If you want a little bit more of a stretch to get into that psoas, bring that arm up and over, finding nice length in the front of that hip. But this one is super good if you do a lot of sitting. Breathing deeply. Seeing if you can lengthen and open up the front of that hip even more. If you want to get a little deeper, think about pressing that back shin into the floor while continuing to tuck the tail and reach that arm up and over. So many things to think about. We'll be here for just a moment longer. And on the exhale, come on out of it. Good. Let's go right into our hamstrings. Let's bring one knee up to the chest. Extend that leg up to the ceiling, holding either behind the hamstrings or behind the calf. We take a big inhale in. On the exhale, we resist. So we press that leg into our hands and we don't let that leg go down to the ground. Take a big inhale in, and on the exhale, you release that leg and it comes a little closer to you. Inhale, and on the exhale, we resist. And exhale, release, and bring that leg a little closer to you one more time. Exhale, resist. Exhale, release, and bring that leg a little closer to you. A little closer to you. My leg is shaking today. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you can see that on the screen. And then release it down to the ground. Flop those feet in and out, let it relax. All right, other side, knee up, leg unfolds, take an inhale in, and on the exhale, we resist. On your next exhale, release and let that leg come a little closer to you. And I caught myself clenching my jaw there, so on this next one, let's all together think about taking an inhale in. And on the exhale, we resist that leg, we release our jaw. So the tension is in between our leg and our hands, not in our mouths. And on your next exhale, release and let that leg fall a little closer to your face. One more time. And exhale, resist. 2, 3. Exhale, release. Let that leg fall a little closer to you. Hold that there for just a moment, feeling that hamstring nice and deep. Checking in with the jaw, checking in with the shoulders. Take an inhale in, exhale, let it go to the floor. Well done. Let those legs flop in and out. While we are here on our backs, let's go back to our glutes. One leg comes up and over, holding behind that hamstring in that figure 4 stretch. And we will be here for a moment, getting a little bit deeper into those glutes, into all of those muscles that help rotate our legs outwards. Breathing deeply, seeing if you can find a deeper connection to this stretch. We started class with it, sitting in the chair, but now we have gravity working, bringing the legs closer to the chest. Take 3 more big breaths here, and on each exhale, let's see if we can get deeper. And by deeper, I mean, can we sense the stretch with more detail? Doesn't have to be visibly bringing that leg closer to the chest. Just as long as you're feeling something and then increasing that sensation, you are going deeper. It doesn't have to be something that you can see on the outside eye. Lower that leg down and let's switch sides. And on our other side, we can always take a moment to note how one side feels compared to the other. Is there more rotation in that leg? Is there less rotation? Is there more pain? Is there less? Is there more flexibility? Is there less? On this one, I feel almost like a pinching in the front of my hip. So that tells me that this side of the body is a little bit locked up or jammed. So I am going to, in my mind's eye, imagine there's lots of space in my hip socket in hopes that I can kind of start finding rotation in that leg, finding a deepening of the stretch that will eventually release that hip. And if it doesn't happen today, maybe it'll happen tomorrow. And again, checking in with the jaw, checking in with the shoulders, consciously taking some big breaths in and some big breaths out. And we'll be here for about 3 more breaths. Good, and lower that foot down. Bring the other foot to the mat. Take an inhale in. On the exhale, put pressure into the feet. Bring those hips up. Bring those arms up overhead. And then melt down through the spine, letting those arms come down by the sides. Coming over to the side. Ooh, that hurt. Coming up. And finding our little center, I don't want to call this center splits, finding some openness in our inner thighs. So we can either just sit up nice and tall, or you can bring the hands in front, or if you're feeling super flexible today, tippy toe those fingers forward, coming down to the elbows, or coming down so that your chin is on the floor if you're hypermobile, and just feeling a nice openness in the front, or pardon me, the middle of the legs. We'll be here for about a minute. Let the head hang down, feeling gravity slowly deepen this stretch for you. Breathing deeply here. And again, I know I sound like a broken record, checking in with the jaw, checking in with the breath, the shoulders, maybe even closing the eyes here. Seeing if you can deeply sense the inner thighs releasing. And if it feels right, you can always go a fraction of an inch deeper. Really feeling those legs stretch wide and open. Good. On your next exhale, crawl on up. Bring those feet in and resuscitate them. That can sometimes be a little intense. We're going to do one more stretch for the inner thighs. I'm going to come like this. So I come to this position. My knees are on the ground. My shins are on the ground. So it's kind of like a little froggy position. My elbows are going to come to the ground. And I'm going to gently press my hips back until I feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh and groin area. So if you look at me from the side, I come into the kind of this froggy position with wide heels. And now my legs are not at a perfect 90-degree angle because that kind of bothers my hips and knees. So I scooch my heels in just a little bit so I have a little bit of play of movement forward and back. And I'll just go forward and back a couple of times until I find a nice area of stretch. And I'll be here for about a minute, getting deep into that groin, opening up those hips. This is a new one, so you can take a moment to play around or see what feels good and right. And if this doesn't feel good, you can always skip it and do something else. Feeling those hip, uh, leg bones in the hip sockets. Breathing deeply, checking in with the jaw, the shoulders, checking in with the hips, and are you holding any unnecessary tension anywhere? Or are you able to just kind of release and give into the stretch? Take an inhale in, and on the exhale, come on out of that, bringing the feet up to the ceiling and then just kind of windshield wiper the legs, letting those kind of femur bones, those thigh bones slosh around in the hip sockets. Good. All right. It's that time already. This class flew by completely. All right. Let's come to the chair. We're going to use our tennis balls like a little pillow. I'm going to put this back on because it's time to kind of cool down a little bit. Putting our calves on the chair, so feeling those lower legs nice and supported. Lay all the way back. Have that tennis ball within arm's reach. All right. Fidget adjust until you feel comfortable and good. Placing the palms of the hands on the tops of the thighs. Take a big inhale in. And on the exhale, press the thighs away, feeling the back nice and long. Inhale to release. Exhale to press. Inhale, release. Hands at the back of the head. Exhale, giving that head a little bit of tractioning. Inhale, release. One more time. Exhale. Inhale, release, grabbing that tennis ball, putting it at the base of the skull. So it's kind of like a little pillow. Closing the eyes, placing the hands either at the sides of the body with the palms up, or you can place the palms on the ribs or stomach, whatever feels good. Closing the eyes. And for the next moment, really sensing where your skeleton is laying. So you feel your head supported. You feel your jaw relaxed. You feel your sternum and shoulders spilling open. You feel your shoulder blades and backs of the arms supported by the floor. When you inhale deeply, you feel the ribs expanding into the ground. And when you exhale, you feel them gently falling to the floor. You feel the sacrum and the hips heavy and into the ground. You feel the thigh bones, the femurs placed in the hip sockets with ease. The chair is supporting your calves and lower legs that you woke up and worked so hard today. And one more time, check in with that jaw. Check in with the eyebrows. Are they clenched together or are they relaxed? And lay here for just a moment longer, breathing deeply, feeling nice and relaxed. And only when you're ready will you open your eyes and gently come to the side of the body and carry on with your evening. Thank you very much for joining. Rock on. Have a good night. Sleep well.